another live stream. It's always a pleasure and an honor to come before you all, and I'm excited about this one. So let's get into it. Let's dive right away. Wherever you're watching this live stream from, let me know. It's always interesting to know the countries where our streams are able to get in. We've got a couple of people from the United States watching us on stream. I know we've got a couple of people from the UK. That's amazing. We've got a couple of people from India. We've got a couple of people from Russia. That's amazing. That's amazing, and we thank God for all of that. I am beyond honored to know that my live streams are able to get this much reach. I think that is amazing, and God is definitely doing something wonderful. So just give me a couple of minutes. I want to set up, and today's subject is on push to start. I want to talk about something I themed it. I gave it a theme. I said push to start. And I want to talk about something that relates to basic engine thermodynamics and heat transfer. When you're when you start your car, right? When you walk up to your car, you turn the ignition on, um, the heat that is produced, the coolant that circulates in the car is low because the car is idle. Until the car moves, then the heat can really, move quickly and faster within the car, and you can begin to feel the heat, right? When you look at your own life, things don't happen until you take action. Things don't happen until you make a move, until you make an effort. Things can happen. I went to the gym yesterday. I typically don't do legs when I go to the gym. I hate doing legs. And I went to the gym yesterday. I decided I was going to do legs. And not only did I decide I was going to do legs, I decided that I was going to hit a new PR yesterday. And there was no one there. There was no one there to help me. So if I failed, then I'd either get injured or something worse could happen. And I decided that I was going to do it regardless. I'd never done that weight before. And so I get the gym, I set up everything, and I'm looking at the weight on the rack, and I'm trying to talk myself out of doing it. I'm trying to talk myself out of, hey man, this weight might be too much for you. This you might want to take it easy. And I said, no, I'm going to do it. If I fail, I fail. If I'm successful, I'm successful. Tiffany says hi Tiffany, welcome to the channel. If I'm successful, I'm successful. And so I went underneath the weight, and I was able to hit the squat weight. And I was like, wow, that was amazing. I want to do it again. And it was so crazy because every time I went down and I was coming up, I struggled. Every time I went down and I was coming up, it was hard, it was difficult, it was painful. And it always felt like one wrong move and this whole thing is like coming off my back, or I'm hurting my neck or something worse. But the more I did it, the more I developed sort of like a tolerance towards it, and I loved it. I wanted to keep doing it, and I realized something in that moment. I realized that now that fear is gone, and so the next time I go to the gym, I'm going to put that same weight on my back. I'm going to do it confidently, and guess what I'm going to do again? I'm going to add some extra weight to that. Nothing in our life will ever move until we decide to take a bold step. Everything in that morning before I went to the gym was telling me don't go, right? Because I start the car, I'm trying to heat up my car. It's not heating for some reason. The windshield is like full of frost. I can't see anything, and it's like, no, I still need to go. And so I took a bold step. I said, I'm going to drive my car. I'm going to take my time, slow. I know this route. I know where the neighbors park their cars. Those that don't park on their driveway, I know how they park on the side of the road. So I'm going to drive carefully and make sure I get to the gym. And as I began to drive, the car began to heat up. And then the windshield began to clear, and I began to see the road. And all of that was like a teaching moment. It was like God was just like teaching me something. Like, you're not going to have it all ready in the very beginning. You're not going to have it all set and ready and clear, and you have all the direction and all, the wisdom and everything that you need for your mission, for your journey. It's not going to be always straight. You're going to have to take a risk. You're going to have to try even when it doesn't make sense. You're going to have to believe that it is possible. If you can believe that it is possible, and you take that scary leap of faith, push to start, right? It says push to start, but you have to put your foot on the brake, and then you have to put your thumb, you have to press it in order for the car to respond to the action. Right? It won't just respond. You have to stretch your foot and put your foot on the brake, and then you have to stretch your thumb and then put it on it for an action to take place. Everything in our life, everything in our journey demands that we have to take a bold step of faith. We have to reach out. We have to try. If we don't try, nothing happens. We got some pretty interesting names on this live stream. Someone's name is Grok. Raylan says, "Can you shout me out?" Raylan, you just got your shout out. You can subscribe to the channel. I just gave you a shout out. Someone's name is Grok. Why is your name Grok? Anyway, everything in our journey demands that we take a bold leap of faith. We have to have something I call audacity. 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 And sometimes people undermine themselves, people sell themselves short because of certain privileges that they have. It's so warped. I don't understand why people that would grow up with so much access and so much privilege wouldn't use that to their advantage. Why are you selling yourself short? Use what you have to your advantage. Anyone in that position would do the same thing. Take leaps of faith. What is it you want to do? You want to write a book? You want to teach people, you want to counsel people, whatever it is. Everything in our journey, everything in our days demand that we take a leap of faith. We take an action to produce a reaction. I'm not trying to rhyme. It is what it is. And that was such a humbling moment for me, because in the morning, everything looked like, don't go, just call it another day, it's cold, you can't really see. What do you do in such a position? What do you do in such an instance? Someone says, I want to be an internet troll. That is too sad. That is too sad. What do you do in such a position? And everything in our journey, everything in our life sometimes will discourage us. That moment when I looked at the weight before I was going to go on a squat bench, on a squat rack, whatever it is, right? Everything in my mind was like, don't do it, you might get hurt. Don't do it, it's not safe. And yes, if we want to be technical, that was not a smart decision. But yesterday I was having a conversation with someone I really love, and I was telling them that I've come to realize that sometimes when we love people too much, we prevent them from growing. You might not necessarily understand what I'm saying right now, but I want you to remember this. Sometimes when people love us too much, they stop us from growing because they don't want us to try. They don't want us to, get hurt. They don't want us to reach out and have faith and do something on our own. When people love us too much, they stop us from growing. They stop us from trying new things, stop us from trying difficult things. And so in that moment, I love myself. I'm looking at the weight. I don't like doing legs when I go to the gym. And I'm looking at it, and there is fear. I feel fear. I hear it in my mind. It's like, don't do it. Just play it safe. You haven't done legs in a while. Just take your time. Sunny Jason says, that's not true. That's not love. I don't know what you're talking about. Right? And so I'm looking at the weight, and I say, no, I'm going to do it. If I put this weight on, I can do it. And so I go behind it. It feels weird. And the very moment I drop, I feel like I'm going down. And I have to it takes everything in me Everything in me. The beautiful moment is I didn't record it. I didn't record it. That moment was for me. I didn't record it, but I know what happened. I know what happened. I went down and I did it again. And I did it again. And I was like, man, that wasn't so bad. I can do it again. And I did it again. I did it again. Two birds, one stone. My aim is amazing. There's two birds, I have one stone, but I have the audacity to believe that if I throw it, I'm catching both. If I throw it, if I do it, I can have it all. I don't want a piece of the pie. I want the full thing. I'm not coming in with a plate to get a piece. I'm coming with the full tray and I'm taking the whole thing home. Two birds, one stone. Everything that we want to really achieve is on the other side of making an effort. Hence the thumbnail. The thumbnail says push to start. You have to move a foot, put it on the brake, and then you have to reach out and click. You have to push it. There has to be an action for the car to respond. So in order for life to respond to our desires, the things that we want, we have to do something. And we have to do something that we're uncomfortable with. Uncomfortable. Something that is different. We have to relearn and unlearn certain things. Relearn new things, unlearn certain things. And if you come from an environment, if you come from a background that doesn't try, right? We, as a culture, as a society, it depends on, there's so many things that determine our ability to execute. Our ability to execute means that when you have an idea, when you have a vision, when you have a goal, that thing in you that pushes you to try and attempt it is cultural. So there are people that come from a society or a country or a family where they don't execute. So people have goals, people have dreams, but everything about growth is negative. Everything about growth is hindered. So you don't really have people that are pushing you and encouraging you and saying, even though this is difficult and this is tricky, you can do it. And so when you don't come from an environment like that, you have to unlearn those things. You have to unlearn those things and learn new habits, learn new things. That is one of the things that makes the West the West. The Western world is the Western world because people execute more. People have so much audacity here. You hear about some of the grass to grace stories, and it's like, this is just pure audacity. I mean, call it foolishness, call it whatever. But I've come to realize something also. While we're on this subject, I've come to realize that intelligent people don't always succeed. And intelligent people don't always succeed because there's just too much planning going on. It has to go through this way, it has to make sense, it has to come through this way. All of that doesn't help the goal. If we're so analytical, if an individual is so analytical, nothing will ever get done. Kefa is on the live stream. Kefa says, happy start to the week, brothers. Hello, Kefa. Welcome to the live stream. Kefa's been with us for a while. Everything in my mind, if everything in my mind is analytical, I am not going to try. Everything has to match and everything has to go in order, and nah. Sometimes the beauty of audacity is not knowing what lays ahead. That is faith. You don't need to know every single thing that's going to happen. Just do it. Just do it and have fun in the process. Have fun in the process, right? When I started doing live streams, I didn't start doing live streams today. When I started doing live streams, I would have 10 views, 5 views, but I kept going because I knew that I was on a mission and there was a number of people that I needed to speak with and talk to. And this opportunity has helped me gain clients. I do consultation for people, all of that good stuff. But I never knew what was ahead. I just had to make a step. I just had to do it. When it was crazy, when it was cringe, if everything is so analytical about our life, our relationships are analytical, our business moves are analytical, nothing will ever get done. Sometimes you have to do it even if it looks dumb, even if it's scary. Do it. Go and do it. Go and do it. For someone who's been working out for a decent amount of time, who's never liked legs, I always hated leg day. But after yesterday, best believe every time I go in the gym, I'm doing some set of legs when I go to the gym, because I just had a new perspective. I'm enjoying the pain. I'm enjoying the moment when I go down and I'm coming up and it's like, whoa, like I felt like I was about to pass out, but I didn't. That felt great. I'll do it again. I'll do it again. That moment, it sounds so casual until you're in that moment and you do it and it's like, ooh, that wasn't so bad. And guess what? The more you do that, it becomes a spillover effect, a domino effect. It follows through on the other things that you do in your own life, in your own journey. And that's amazing. That is amazing. That is refreshing. I have the audacity to do legs every single day. Yes, absolutely. I fell in love with it. I'll keep doing it, and I'll be getting new PRs. And I'll carry the same principle, and I'll go execute on my other goals. Can you imagine what your life would look like if every single thing you've dreamed of from childhood, you attempted to do it? Just envision what your life would look like if every single idea, every single audacious and bold idea that you've had in the past, you decided you were going to do something about it. You did do something about it to the fullest capacity, to the best of your ability. You did something. What would your life look like? And I'm having this conversation with myself as well, because there's certain crazy ideas that I had, and I talked myself out of doing it. I didn't even have a conversation with anyone to validate that thought or to tell me that it was possible. I told myself it wasn't possible. The same way I was looking at, the weights yesterday when I was at the gym, and I was like, man, you're going to get hurt. Don't do it. And I was talking myself out of experiencing a new perspective about life. About life. A new perspective. If I don't try, I won't grow. I can't like comfort too much. Comfort isn't a bad thing, but I can't love myself too much to the point that I won't allow myself to try. And sometimes, I talk to people and they see the level of desire and ambition that I have, and they feel, well, you're doing too much. You need to relax, calm down, don't do it. And I'm like, I can't listen. I mean, I know that this message is in good faith and it's coming from a place of love. And, you're just, hoping that I take it easy and all that. I know it's coming from love. It's not a place of envy or jealousy. It's coming from love, but I can't listen to that, because the gifts and talents that I have and the things that I believe I've been called to accomplish in my lifetime, if I listen to you, I may slow down a bit. I may not fully complete that thing. And I can't blame you if I don't do it, because I listened to you. So I decided that if I'm also going to be encouraging people, I have to speak to them with a voice of audacity. If they come to me and they tell me something, I first validate the thought. I say, yes, it is possible. Yes, you can do it. Before I look at safety and before I look at playing it safe and taking your time and all of that. Otherwise, nothing will ever get done. Anyone that has achieved some level of fulfillment and satisfaction beyond what we typically experience or beyond what the average individual experiences has a abnormal level of audacity within them. Audacity. What made you do that? What made you think of such a thing? What made you say that? Everyone I know on social media who is crushing the social media game is audacious in some capacity. they're controversial in their belief systems, they're controversial in the way they move, and the things that they do for their own self, with their business. A lot of it is not analytical. It's just, I have an idea, it makes sense, it's scary, I don't know what the end result is, I'm going to do it either way. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do it again. And it looks crazy until it's not. Mike Todd from Transformation Church has a funny thing that he says, and I like it a lot. He says, it's only crazy until it happens. It's only crazy until it happens, right? And some of the things that we will dare to do in our lifetime will sound crazy. It will look crazy. It doesn't make sense. And I want you to know, while we're on this live stream, God doesn't make sense. And I say this, I don't say this in a disrespectful way. I say this in a way that is actually scripturally proven. The Bible says his ways are not our ways. And you can find tons of stories in the Bible that, from an analytical perspective, from a step-by-step thought, the way we carefully think about the things we want to do, it doesn't make sense. And that's what makes God who he is. Because God won't come to me and consult me. I mean, I may pray and cry to God for a blessing, and I don't get to decide the way he blesses me. That's the problem with a lot of people. We're praying and we're trusting God for something, and there's a way in our thought that we want him to give us that blessing. There's a way that we want him to bless us with that miracle or whatever. And so when the blessing doesn't come in that way, we overlook it, or we're like, what is this? Like, I didn't ask for this. And it's like, well, the blessing is right in that thing. God is not analytical. If God was analytical, he wouldn't do anything for us. Right? We are not deserving of some of the great things that happen to us. But God still shows us mercy. God still gives us grace. God does things for us that we don't deserve. He's not analytical when it comes to answering our prayers. He just does it according to our faith. So even if the thing I'm asking for is crazy, and my faith is at a high level, my faith is at a high level, best believe I'm going to get some answers. Best believe I'm going to have a result. He's not an analytical God, right? And if we're made in his image, then we shouldn't be analytical. You can't plan your way out of life. You can make an itinerary, you can make a order, right? Of like step by step. This is what I want to do, this is what I want to do. But then when it comes to execution, sometimes sometimes the things you see are going to be discouraging if you follow the plan, and you just have to do it regardless. Right? I'm working on a tech project with a friend of mine. Call him a brother, right? I know nothing about coding. I don't know how to code. He's the coder. I'm the visionary. I have the ideas. I say, do it this way. I envision this project looking like this, and we're gonna have this over here, and we're gonna have this over here, and I want it like this. And he's the coder. So he takes the idea and he puts it in code. And we've been able to build something phenomenal. But when I had the idea was crazy, because how on earth am I going to ever achieve anything like this? I don't know how to code. All I had to do was, first I had to write the idea down. I had to believe that the idea was possible. And then within my circle, who did I know was capable of helping me with this vision? Wonderful. I have a friend that knows how to code. So I call him, I say, hey, I have this crazy idea. I want us to do this. I want us to do that. I want us to do this. I want us to do that. What do you think? He says, I think it's possible. I'm a little busy right now, but we're going to make it happen. Guess what I didn't do? I didn't talk myself out of it. I didn't talk myself out of the fact that, well, you don't know how to code. So, you're not a tech guy. You have no experience in tech. So what are you going to do? I didn't do that. I wrote the idea down, and I went to find someone who I could do this project with. And now the project is real, is alive. That's audacity. I'm daring to do something I'm daring to venture into a whole industry that I have no knowledge about. And everything about that didn't make sense. Now it makes sense. But when you're starting in the very beginning, it doesn't look like you're doing the right thing. In the very beginning, it doesn't make sense. But it's not supposed to make sense all the time. That is the life that we're called to live. If everything makes sense, there won't be any need for faith. If everything makes sense, there will be no need for a God. God exists because we're dependent on him. We need him. Right? And so if we were self-sufficient and we could figure it out all by ourselves, all at one time, in your 20s, you can figure out the next 50 years of your life, you wouldn't need God. What do you need God for? Right? These are things that I'm saying to you to get you to think, man, maybe I need to start making some audacious moves. I need to wake up and start making some really bold decisions. Some things that don't make any sense, but trust and believe that it will make some sense. If we can do that in our daily walk, a lot of things will change. A lot of things will change. But one of the things that holds us back is fear. Fear holds us back so much. We're afraid to love people. We're afraid to invest. We're afraid to try. Crazy. People are so afraid of love, they would rather break up with a person because they think that the person is going to break up with them. It's just a projection that doesn't even exist. You don't even allow yourself to love. You don't even allow yourself to experience love or give love because you have this weird projection. And it's like, well, everything is going beautiful and everything is going smooth. So why are you holding back? Well, I feel or I fear that this person is going to, break up with me. So I'm not going to try. And you walk out of a great and promising relationship and it never makes sense. Just because you had the idea or the thought and you don't let yourself live. How do you live if you never try? How do you live? And I know some of you have seen the memes online of, the parents that are able to walk close to the hot frying pan and put food in it, put like chicken or something in it. It's like the oil splatters and it's like you just drop it and you run. Nah, don't do that. Walk close to it. Well, don't walk close to hot oil. That's not what I'm saying, but you can follow the concept. Go close, reach out, stretch forth your hand. Experience love, receive love, to love and be loved. Try. Believe that it is possible. Believe that you're capable of love. And believe that you're deserving of love. Everything is audacity. Everything is faith. Everything is above and outside of our comfort zone. Everything that we know. Everyone has problems. Everyone has problems. And most of our problems don't ever get solved because we don't ever leave our comfort zone. I believe that this can happen. If that is the first thought I have every single time an idea comes in my mind, my life will change. I believe that something great can happen with this idea that I have. I believe that my life is capable of changing. I believe that this is a good thing and we can make something happen out of this. So I'm going to try. Trying is such a simple word, but the action of trying involves a lot of faith. Sometimes when we have ideas, we never actually attempt to do anything because there's a part of our lives that feel like it's not possible. There's a part of us that doubts the possibility of that thing. There's a part of you that doubts that the idea you have can work, can scale. But my charge to you is, why don't you at least try to see if it's possible? Do you know what that does for you? Look, we're only 3 months in the year, and in 2026 alone, I have achieved things that I haven't done in like my 20 plus years of living. I don't want to mention my age on here, but in my years of living this year, I have accomplished things. My perspective on life has grown so much just from trying, just from executing, just from changing my perspective, my perception, and trying more, having more audacity, wanting to feel the taste of failure, daring to be bold. It's once you catch this concept, you'll rarely be afraid. You can be troubled by stuff, negative situations, negative things could happen, but it won't phase you because you know who you are. But you won't have that level of confidence, you won't have that level of audacity if you don't push to start. If you don't push to start, if you don't stretch your foot and put it on the brake, and then nothing happens. Nothing happens. The place of audacity, the attitude of audacity is where you discover yourself, is where you discover what you're made of. Audacity builds character. Audacity makes you who you are. Audacity is what says, I know that this is what I'm going through. I know that this is what I'm feeling. I won't compromise because I know what's ahead. I won't compromise because I know there is something more out there for me. And you might be watching this and saying, oh, maybe he's all talk. But no one can speak with this much level of conviction if they haven't done it. I have. I've lived it. I've lived it. And I don't lie. I hate lying. Right? I've lived it. Until you live certain things, until you live it, you can't speak with this much conviction. All of the words are empty. But the reason why you feel something when I say something is because the words are true and the words are real. And if the words are true and the words are real, then it means that the words will have impact on you. And it can change you if you want to change. Simple. You see how much audacity and confidence I'm speaking with? Because I know what I'm saying. Two birds, one stone. My aim is amazing. Two birds, one stone. I have one stone. There are two birds. I'm going to crush them all. One stone. One stone is all I need. One stone is all I need. And can I say something? I want to say something. God will never give you a vision that is within your means. No matter how rich you are, no matter how pretty you are, no matter how handsome, no matter how connected you are, if you decide that you're following Jesus Christ, if you decide that you're going to be a Christian and you're going to pursue life and all of that, he is not going to give you something comfortable. He's not going to give you an easy cakewalk. It's not going to be a cakewalk. Nah, it's going to be sacrificial. It's going to be demand. It's going to test everything about you. And if you can rise up to that challenge and dare to believe that it is possible and you're willing to go through every single thing, you will make it to the other side. That's the thing. A lot of Christians don't really understand that that's part of Christianity. God never gives you a vision that is easy. If he gave you a vision that is easy, then you don't need him. You can just execute. You can just do it. But he has to call you. He has to challenge you to do things that you are not comfortable with. That's what it is. Do I look at my life and do I look at the things that I dream about and envision and think it's a cakewalk? Absolutely. It's not a cakewalk. But I think about it. I'm like, man, sheesh, this is a big project. But I know it can be done. Because if I can envision, if I can think about it, then I can do it. In my own life, right? I've been through difficult situations that in that moment was crazy. And let me say something that might trigger some people. When you're drowning, every moment feels like eternity. Yes. I have, in the past, when I was younger, I hopped in, a pool, and I was struggling for a bit, and I got help like twice. I did that like twice or 2 or 3 times, right? When you're drowning, every moment feels like eternity. When you're going through the motions of life and you're being crushed, when you're going through it, every moment feels like the world should just open and swallow you up. Yes, that is what it is. But when you come out of that situation, when you come out of that moment, you're like, you feel alive again. You feel real because it's true. You thought you would never survive such a moment. You thought, man, my life is over. Man, this heartbreak is killing me. This heartbreak is crushing me. I can't live. And you come out of that and you're alive again. And it's like, well, that wasn't so bad. That wasn't so bad. I can love again. I can love again. I can love someone again. I can have faith again. I can believe that it is possible again. I can believe that I am capable of more. I tried, I wasn't successful, but that wasn't so terrible. I learned new things. I'm going to try again. A change of perspective. Audacity. Push to start. Push to start. So I love you all. Keep this message. Keep this message. 2 birds, 1 stone. Your aim is amazing. 2 birds, 1 stone. You have 2 birds in front of you. You have 1 stone, and you're going to get both. You're going to get both birds. It is possible. You have the audacity. You're daring. You're smart. You're confident. Don't be analytical. Stop trying to plan everything. Well, I'm not saying don't plan your life. You can plan it, but stop living with the intention that everything has to make sense. Certain things don't make sense. Most of the most successful things we've seen don't make sense. Uber as a concept didn't really make sense. From a safety standpoint, from all of that, it didn't make sense until it did. A lot of the things we will dare to do won't make sense. But as long as we know it makes sense for us, cool, wonderful. Your journey is different from mine. Your life experiences, the tragedies you've experienced, all the things that you've gone through that has made you who you are is different from my story. And so if you have a dream or an idea and you have this feeling that you need to do something, don't look at me. Find what is going to work for you and stick with that. Stick with that. Stick with that. Anyways, it's been a pleasure being on this live stream with you. You already know what I'm going to tell you. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure before I hop off this live stream, you subscribe to the channel. And it's always a pleasure to come before you guys, and I will be back here on stream again tomorrow. Not same time, but tomorrow. Thank you all. I love you all, and we will talk soon. Okay. It's been great. It's been great. I've had a phenomenal stream with you guys. If you guys have any questions for me, you can shoot it right now. I'll wait to take some questions, 1 or 2 questions. Otherwise, I will hop off this live stream. So if anyone has any questions, I will wait. Otherwise, I will hop off. I'm gonna give it like a couple of seconds, maybe 20 seconds, 15 seconds. See if anyone drops a question. Did I read that? Okay, that's not a question. Okay, so I love you guys. It's been amazing. I will see you guys on the next live stream tomorrow. We start the week strong tomorrow. We start March strong. March is going to be a great month, and we're starting strong with this live stream, and then we're going to keep going tomorrow. I'm going to probably do, I'm going to start a series tomorrow, so be on the lookout for that as well. Thank you all. It's been a pleasure. I will talk to you all soon. Take care.